Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Good morning, area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
Let's go. It is the Pregame Show. I'm your host, Joe Spadoni. And for the next hour, we're dissecting all Bay Area sports around Nya. But we got to start with the biggest news of the day. Brock Purdy is in concussion protocol. Step on up, Sam Darnold? Oh, my God. I shouldn't be surprised. And welcome in all of you who are just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, getting ready to do whatever it is you got to do. It's a Thursday, a.k.a. best day of the freaking week. I love Thursdays because you know what? Tomorrow's a payday Friday. It's a Phil Collins Friday. It's a football Friday. It's just a damn Friday. I'm so excited. I think I'm finally adapted to this new studio. Ride a little scooter on over here. Kind of like that little breath of fresh air. Invented a new word here on the Pregame Show. But it's nice. And now we got KCBS moving into the building today. I get to see nice guy Stephen Langford right next to me. Oh, you know what? I don't want to make any promises, but you know what? Tomorrow, I think we're going to do a little Pregame Show crossover. I don't care if he has to do his update. All right, Sam? He's coming over here. I need some Langford in my life. Miss nice guy. Good morning to all of you on the Twitch and YouTube chats. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. We are streaming from 5 a.m. through 7 p.m. Monday through Friday right here on 95.7 The Game. So what are you doing? Go subscribe because we're going to be talking a lot of Niners today. And man, did Kyle Shanahan at his media weekly presser yesterday deliver some very, very interesting news as it pertains to Brock Purdy.
Oh, he started getting symptoms on the plane. So we found that out when we landed. We were all pretty asleep, but then he got all checked up today yesterday, and now he's in the protocol.
He's in the protocol. So Brock Purdy, great chance he doesn't play on Sunday, which means it would be Sam Darnold. And after all the conversations we had in the offseason as it pertains to Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, QB 1, 2, 3, Brandon Allen, toss him in there, 4. It could potentially be Sam Darnold and up to him to stop the losing streak. And if he can't do that, then the Niners are on a 3-game losing streak heading into the bye, and then it feels situation critical. At that point, it feels, okay, something's officially wrong. Now, I go to social as one does. I like to gauge the fan reaction. I like to look at, replies. I know X, Twitter, Instagram. It's not real life, quote unquote, but a lot of fans are on there. They like to get their news from there. So when the news came out, it's like, interesting. The first thing I saw, that explains the bad performance from Brock. Oh, he was concussed. QB sneak. They did it 2 times in a row. He got popped in the head. It was right there. Well, you just heard from Kyle Shanahan. He didn't start feeling symptoms until he was on the plane, and Shanahan will wake up from his flight, be like, oh, wait, Brock's feeling not good? So it was a delayed reaction. But I just thought it was funny. It's just like, we as fans try so hard to find an excuse for why our favorite players performed poorly. Well, it was concussion, obviously. Well, could have been, or just could have had a bad fourth quarter. And a guy that hasn't even started a full season in the NFL. It could just be that. It's okay. The good outweighs the bad with Brock Purdy exponentially up to this point. But it is interesting. if Sam Darnold does indeed get the start, and don't lie, 49er fans, there's a part of you that is curious about this. That is like, you know what? I kind of want to see it. Now, you don't want Brock to be hurt, obviously. No one wants that. No one wants concussions. Obviously, the history of that, well documented, not good. Don't want brain injuries to anyone. So hope Brock has a speedy recovery, and I hope he does get cleared and he plays, because that means he's feeling better, and that's what you want. But if he can't go, and they have to rest him through the bye week, and he comes back for Jacksonville, Sam Darnold, I'm very interested to see what he does in this offense. I am. Because what I've heard from people much smarter than me, people that have played the game, if he just gets the right, coaching around him, if Sam Darnold came into Kyle Shanahan's offense instead of Adam Gase's, I think we'd be talking about a guy that was worthy of the number 2 or number 3 overall pick, whatever the hell he was. Number 3? Okay. Let's see it. Now, Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams also did not practice, and obviously Deebo probably going to be out this week. Trent, we shall see. So he'd be in the same boat as Brock Purdy was this past Monday night. But that still means you have Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. Pretty good. It's a pretty good trio right there. Obviously, you'd like your stud left tackle, and going up against a Bengals defense, it's, again, pretty freaking good. It could be a long day. But Kyle Shanahan, what he does, he puts his guys in positions to succeed. Saw it with Brian Hoyer. A little bit. Didn't even get a win on Shanahan. I don't even remember. But I did see it with Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. They did get wins. They had flashes where they looked competent. Good. Sam Darnold, I'm not looking for just competent and good. I'm looking for, wow. That's why we brought him in. That's why, we had these conversations in the summer and all of practice. This guy just clearly, the arm talent is better than anyone else on the team. Better than Trey, better than Brock, better than Brandon Allen. This is why this guy was a top 5 pick out of USC. So 888-957-9570. How we feeling, 49er faithful? If you're just getting up, good morning to all of you. This is the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Brock Purdy, your San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback, in the concussion protocol. How we feeling? Sam Darnold, come on up. Are we holding out hope? Are you curious? Just a little curious. YP on the YouTube chat. Darnold beat out Trey for the second spot. Let's see what he can do. Doesn't have to do much with this roster. Agree. Let's see what he can do. And if he balls out, let's just say, hypothetically, Sam Darnold has an elite game on Sunday. Tony Romo, Jim Nance. It's a CBS primetime spot, 1 o'clock. We'll have all that coverage leading up to the game, live from Hilton, Santa Clara, by the way, with the kickoff show. Larry Krueger, Lo Neal. Go check them out. Go say hi. All of our guys will be over there. Then after the game, we'll have overtime with Mark Grandy, Sterling Bennett. You're not going to want to miss that. So we got all your pre- and post-game coverage this Sunday leading up to that 49ers game. Be here or be square. But if he balls out, Sam Darnold, heading into a bye, I'm not saying that he's taking Brock Purdy's job. No. As I do my Iron Eagle. Not saying that. I'm saying the conversation starts to shift to, well, it just seems like anyone in a Kyle Shanahan offense is going to turn into a system quarterback, which is what I said at the start of the year. No one is ever going to be able to shake the label of a Kyle Shanahan quarterback unless you had prior to success to Shanahan. And Sam Darnold hasn't had prior success to Kyle Shanahan. Now, he's won some games, sure. It's a lot of bad. Up till this point, Sam Darnold has been a bust. And if he goes out there on Sunday against a well-rested Cincinnati Bengals team, a disappointing Bengals team, but a Bengals team nonetheless that has studs all over the place, and they win the game and he looks good, conversations are going to start to be had. That's all I'm saying. 888-957-9570. Here's more from Kyle Shanahan if he noticed anything off about Purdy during the game.
No, I mean, because I don't get to talk to him when I'm calling plays in, but he on the sidelines, a couple of those series, nothing with Grease hearing it. And I know after the game, he talked to you guys and Corey. So it's kind of a surprise when I woke up on the plane.
Kind of a surprise when you woke up on the plane. Again, if you're just joining us, Brock Purdy in concussion protocol. Sam Darnold looking like the starter for this Sunday. Good morning to all of you on the Comcast Business Text line, 888-957-9570. You can call or text that number if you'd like. And I appreciate if you would do that, because I just unblocked the calls right there. So you know what? You can call right in. I want to know how you're feeling about Sam Darnold. Are you holding out hope that Brock Purdy, comes back? Or should they even rush him back? You know what? We got a bye coming up. Be safe than sorry. Let him rest. And let's see what we have with Sam Darnold. I think that's the most cautious. And, I understand you don't want to have a 3-game losing streak. But if you gassed up this guy, Sam Darnold, so much, and you put a clause in his contract that basically states if he makes a start and I think it completes a certain amount of passes, whatever it is. Basically, if he has a start this year, he gets $300,000 incentives. That's basically what it is. And I know you pitched it to him when he was coming over. You know what? You'll have a chance to start some games this year. Because you know what? The history of our quarterback situation shows that we need a competent quarterback. So you can come in, compete with Trey, but I like your chances. And it all comes down to this now for Sam Darnold. It's a massive opportunity for him. So yes, a part of me wants to see him go out there and prove Kyle Shanahan right. I'm not here to, rooting for chaos or anything like that. And although I do love chaos, because chaos equals, ratings. But Sam Darnold, I'm just rooting for him. I am. I always root for the underdogs. We were comparing this guy potentially to Jim Plunkett prior to this season. Jim Plunkett, as you know, former Heisman winner out of Stanford, was a bust with the New England Patriots. I think it was the number 1 overall pick. Went to San Francisco, tried his luck there. Wasn't very good. Was a backup for the Raiders with Dan Pastorini, early 80s. Just kind of sitting on their bench for a while. Dan Pastorini breaks his leg. Plunkett goes in. I think he throws 5 interceptions in his first game, by the way. But then they go on. Raiders win the Super Bowl, beat the Eagles, become the first wild card team ever to win it all. Then Plunkett comes back, wins another Super Bowl with Marcus Allen against the Washington then Redskins. So that's what we were getting comped to. It's like, well, Kyle Shanahan can do anything. He can make Sam Darnold Jim Plunkett. Let's go to Steve out in San Jose. Steve wants to get on here. Steve, you're on. Oh, there we go. I did it. Cool. Steve, you're on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. What's up?
Hey, good morning, buddy. Yeah, I know. I'm an underdog guy, too. Let me tell you this. I'll fight for anybody when you say you can't do something. I'm going to be like, hey, you go prove them wrong. But we got to remind ourselves, this is Sam Darnold. He's a snoozer. Anybody that's watched him play, he'll give you every 10 plays. 10 plays, he'll throw a good pass. You're like, wow, look at that pass. I really don't care about the deep ball. I care about moving the sticks. And every time I've watched Sam Darnold play, it's like watching Garoppolo, except you're going to minus one of the turnovers. So I'm not high stakes on him. I sure in hell hope he does well, because we really need that W. And run the ball. McCaffrey's not the only running back there that's pretty damn good. Mason shows that he's got heart, he's got power, he's got speed. And sometimes it's better when you got a guy back there like that than McCaffrey, because you're not expecting him to run the ball. What's your thoughts?
It's a great point, Steve. I appreciate you chiming in, 888-957-9570, if you would like to call in as well. Yes, we're not expecting him to change the offense, anything. He's just do what Shanahan tells you to do, Sammy, and everything will be okay. You got the weapons around you to make you look good. So dump it off to McCaffrey, hand the ball off, quick outs, quick hitters, and that arm strength will come in handy. It will. I'm not saying he's taking like 10 deep shots in this game, no. But let's be honest with ourselves. The arm strength for Brock on Monday night showed itself a little bit, especially with that last pick. My guy was throwing across his body like he was Brett Favre or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. Brock, that's not you. That's not your game. Don't do that ever again. because he got picked off by Byron Murphy. Night, night, see you later. Sam Darnold has that type of arm strength that I just mentioned. He does have that zip on the ball. So I am interested to see a couple deep shots with Ayuk. I'm not expecting the whole game plan to change. No, absolutely not. But there'll be a few plays in there that Shanahan tries to tailor to Sam Darnold's strengths. And he is a good athlete. He is. He's big. He's strong. He doesn't have quite the wheels as a Purdy. He's a big dude. He'll stay in the pocket. It's limiting the turnovers when it comes to Sam Darnold. A lot of fumbles, a lot of dumb interceptions. Limit those. Don't lose the turnover battle. Good things could be coming. And I say could because that team on the other side, they're desperate as well. They're hungry, and they've got a lot of talent. Do not give Joe Burrow, even a hobbled up Joe Burrow, second chance opportunities because he will make you pay. Jamar Chase will make you pay. And that secondary for the 49ers right now, they got to prove it to me. They got to prove it. Jamar Chase, guy's on a tear. Stop that guy. I need some wood to be laid out on some of these receivers. I need Joe Burrow to be getting pummeled in the backfield. I'm looking at the pass rush. So as much as Sam Darnold's going to dominate the conversation, that defense for the 49ers, it's got to step up too. This is disappointing. And I didn't blame the defense on Monday because ultimately when your quarterback throws 2 picks in the fourth quarter, that's usually the game. And they held them to 22 points. But the yardage was concerning. It wasn't easy. And it could have been more points, obviously. A couple missed field goals from Greg Joseph for the Minnesota Vikings. But it was an easy, whatever it was, 22 points for the Minnesota Vikings. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you on the pregame show. Damon Chang, I'm with you, Spaghetti. Appreciate you, Damon. Nice Oaklanders shirt. Thank you. I got it for my birthday a few months back, my 30th. Sam was there. Was that Two Pitchers Brewery, I think, in Oakland? Oh, boy, I'm butchering it. That night was a blur. Benny threw up on me in the first, 20 minutes. Poor kid. He was sick. It's all good, though. Love you, buddy. Get back to sleep if you're listening. Edgard, Ascoli. 49ers boys, quality is superior than Shan. Observe over tactical. You're using a lot of big words in me, Edgard. I don't know if I could go here. That's maybe the pregame show is not the place for you with that vocabulary. You're looking for Willard and Dibbs at 2 o'clock or Steiny and Goo. Steiny's parents were English teachers, so his vocabulary much greater than I. But I appreciate you chiming in nonetheless. Rookie mistake by me. You never go to the YouTube chat and start reading off text that you haven't read and proofread in the first place. So flag on me. I'll take that. From the Comcast Business Text line, we're talking Brock Purdy, who was in the concussion protocol. Sam Darnold in line to be the starter? How are we feeling about all this? It's a lot to process. You're coming off a 2-game losing streak. Fred Warner dubbed this a quote-unquote must-win. That's his words. That's the captain of your team, the captain of your defense, Fred Warner, saying this is a must-win. And now you got potentially Sam Darnold making the start against Joe Burrow, a well-rested Bengals team coming into Levi's. So I'm expecting a heavy-hitting, big play kind of day in Santa Clara. That's what I'm expecting. And how concerned should we be with all of this? 888-957-9570. Here's Shanahan when asked if Purdy has time to clear the concussion protocol by Sunday.
Does he have enough time to clear protocol in order to be available for the game on Sunday?
Oh, yeah, he does have enough time. It's got to go through the process.
Does have enough time, just has to go through the process. Trust the process as basketball season's officially back. By the way, we'll get into that. Speaking of the Philadelphia 76ers, you hear what Bob Myers had to say in regards to the James Harden situation, Joel Embiid, Steph Curry? Fascinating. Bobby Myers, a lot of energy yesterday. He felt a little jumpy at times, felt a little excited. You can feel the energy. Wasn't the calm, cool, collected Bob that we're all used to, but you know what? He's going to do great. He is. Good-looking guy. He's got the cadence down, confident when he speaks. It's basically all you need. I mean, I got the confidence when I speak. I don't know if it's good. I don't think I really got the good-looking thing down. Give myself a 6 on a good day. I don't think my wife likes me saying that, but that's all right. I got lucky. She's a 10. Love you, honey. From the Comcast Business text line, 408. We best with our backs against the wall. If we come out like poop, we don't deserve the chip, or if Niners don't figure out a way to grind out a win, they don't deserve to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. You know what, 408? I like that mindset. Backs are against the wall. We got the captain of our defense saying this is a must-win. No excuses. Go out there and win. You know, this team has been playing like a front runner the last few weeks. I'm going to say it. They slept on the Cleveland Browns, even though they won't say that they did. They did. They slept on P.J. Walker and co. They thought they had no chance. They are riding high. They are 5-0. I don't care if it's an East Coast or it's a bad weather game. We got it. Then, licking your wounds, you decide to stay on the West Coast and not stay on the East Coast, where you're playing another, ahead of your time zone game. Because I think Minnesota, I was going to say Eastern time zone, but Central, you get what I'm saying. You didn't stay in Youngstown, Ohio, like you usually do, because you had it on Monday Night Football, which is fine, but you better be prepared. And that defense did not look prepared against the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't want to see a front runner type of performance for a third consecutive week. You're at home. Faithful's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. They're going to be desperate, and you're going to feel the tension in this game. It's Romo. It's Nance. It's CBS. This means a lot. It's a massive game. It's a must-win, according to Fred Warner. 888-957-9570. Do you agree with that? Even without Brock Purdy? From the 925, Niners need to make some moves before the deadline. Offensive line, DBs, need improvements if possible. That's Ham from Pittsburgh. Appreciate you chiming in, Ham. The great Hambino. Trade deadline is going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting as I see it all over all my TVs here in the studio. Derrick Henry. Are the Eagles sniffing around there? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Devontae Adams. I don't think they're going to trade him. The cap hit's too large. I think they're going to trade Hunter Renfrow, though. And I think the 49ers should be all over that. Hunter Renfrow is a little slot receiver. They've been trying to trade him. No one wants to take on that contract. I think he's due like $13 or $14 million. But you know what? If you have the cap space, go get that guy. If he helps your offense, he gets open. There's this whole thing called third and Renfrow because he always converts third downs. Go get a nice little shifty slot receiver from the Raiders for a 6th-round pick. Hey, I like that. Offensive line help? I don't know who's trading offensive linemen this early in the season. It's a premium position. If there's someone out there, sure. Secondary, sure. If they're doing a fire sale, Pat Surtain. Apparently John Lynch inquired about him, and the Broncos were like, no. But I'm glad he inquired. That was a 2. Yeah, the great Hambino. It's all right. We'll workshop it. 408. We've been playing fraudulent. I feel we did not take PJ and Cousins seriously, and I agree with that take, Spadoni, but still no excuse. We need to find ways to win those games. We are punched in the mouth. That's from Ant in San Jose. Don't play like a front runner. That's all I'm asking. Because that's who they've been the last 2 weeks. Front-running team. Yeah, it's so cool when you have the F the Cowboys shirt, and you have, the Skims commercials with Nick Bosa. You have Christian McCaffrey. Shout out Flag and Anthem. We do love them. Help pay the bills. Premium clothes without the premium price tag. Dylan thinks it's too early to say it's a must-win. Well, Dylan, from the 209, that's Fred Warner saying that. That's the captain of your defense. Fred Warner. Must win. Because if you go on a 3-game losing streak heading into the bye, it's not good. It's not over. But all of a sudden, when you were thinking about, having the number 1 overall pick, or not pick, number 1 overall seed, I should say. You're trying to fight for the division at that point. You're trying to just not be a wild card team. To hell with having home field advantage throughout. I'm just trying to make the damn playoffs. Trying to have one home field game, right? So if you lose this game, I'm tossing out, number 1 overall seed. Tossing that right out the book. That's Phillies. Hell, that might even be Detroit's. And it can be the 49ers. And I need to look this up. I don't remember last time a team that won a Super Bowl had a 3-game losing streak. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe the Giants did against the Pats back in the day. Maybe a wild card team did. I'll have a crack staff in the back look that up. And they, again, from the 408, they want a first seed. It is a must win. And that was the goal from Kyle Shanahan this year. And goals change, things change. It could shift from having the number 1 seed just to winning the division. But again, I don't care if it's Sam Darnold. I don't care if it's Brock Purdy. Get the job done. 888-957-9570. We'll continue to take your calls and texts. How we feeling, 49er faithful, as Brock Purdy is in the concussion protocol? What does that mean for Sam Darnold, who would be in line to take his place and start on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase coming off a bye, coming to Levi's. Man, a lot of different conversations and thoughts regarding this. We'll get into that on the other side. Plus, again, Bob Myers had some interesting things to say prior to the Knicks-Celtics game last night. Again, Bob Myers, former president of basketball operations with the Golden State Warriors, doing ESPN analyst work now. Some interesting thoughts there from Bob Myers. Plus, the Giants introduce a new manager, but it's kind of an old manager here in the Bay. We'll talk about Bob Myers, Bob Melvin, and Brock Purdy as 3 Bs on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Get big savings and big rewards during Pro-Vember at Lowe's. Right now, MVP's members earn 3 times the bonus points on DeWalt products and save $200.
That has provided in-depth historical accounts for over 30 years. And The Panorama, a quarterly newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. I'm fired up. It's a Thursday. It's a thirsty Thursday here on 95.7. Got some Drake in the building. Come on. Talking to Shasky, talking to Loveman. And by the way, we've been talking about Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, 49ers stud quarterback, coming off 2 straight losses and is now in concussion protocol. So Sam Darnold, come on up. He would be in line to start on Sunday. And we were just talking about whether or not this is a must-win for the 49ers. And I was talking about, how many teams have lost 3 straight and still won a Super Bowl. Well, a couple in this century, in fact. Sam Loveman, producer extraordinaire for the Morning Roast and host of Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, a San Francisco Giants podcast with Joe Shasky and co. And I'm sure they're going to have a emergency pod with Bob Melvin now being announced as the new Giants manager. We'll hear from Bob a little bit later in the show as he had his opening introductory presser yesterday, and Farhan Zaidi, the president of baseball operations, getting extended as well. Both of them now have contracts through 2026. So it'll be interesting there. But it's all Niners right now. It's all Niners. And we were talking about this being a must-win. Fred Warner dubbed it a must-win. It's the captain of your defense. It's the heart and soul of your team. Fred Warner says this is a must-win. And he said that after the game, after the loss on Monday night. It's a short week, probably going to be without your star quarterback. And then you got Sam Darnold coming in. But Sam Darnold, you got him for a reason. Kyle Shanahan liked him for a reason. He was one of the first guys, if not the first, to be signed when free agency started just a few months back. So 888-957-9570. How much confidence do you have in Sam Darnold getting the job done on Sunday to avoid a 3-game losing streak? And the teams that have still won a Super Bowl while having a 3-game losing streak, because I kind of teased it prior to the break, the 2011, I think it was 2011, 2012. I always get my years mixed up because it overlaps. Baseball's the easiest when you can just go by individual year because it's all in one calendar year. But the Giants, when they beat the Patriots a second time, they had lost 4 or 5 and had lost 3 straight. The New Orleans Saints, when they won it all, back in whatever that was, 2009 or whatever, with Drew Brees and co., they had a 3-game losing streak to end the season, but I think they were resting at that point. I remember that one game on Sunday Night Football, think it was against the Saints. Maybe it was Saturday Night Football, or against the Cowboys, I should say. DeMarcus Ware had a big game. Tony Romo had a big game. And the Saints were undefeated at that point, and the Cowboys put an end to it. But that Saints season, and then the 2021 Rams had a 3-game losing streak. So it can be done. It can be done. But heading into a bye, that's not the mindset I want. I want some positives heading into the bye week. And it doesn't care about style points or anything. Not when you have a backup quarterback in. A win is a win is a win. And do whatever it takes to do that. If that's feeding McCaffrey a bunch, if that's, feeding the stars, that's what you got to do. And Brian Baldinger, our 95.7 The Game NFL insider, he talked with the guys this past week, as he does each and every week, Tuesday at 7:30. Obviously, former NFL offensive lineman. We love Baldy. But he was talking about, the lack of targets for a Brandon Ayuk against Minnesota and just getting it to your star players. Here's what Baldy had to say about the 49ers, feeding Brandon Ayuk and other stars.
I think you should have gotten more, to be honest with you, because, the way that they were playing, especially on first downs, especially the way they're playing the run. I mean, they were basically selling out to play the run, and they did that, and they were good at it. And they're a big blitz zero team. You're going to get some one-on-ones out there, and I like my chances of Brandon Ayuk against, whether it's
Murphy
Murphy or, whoever, Evans, whoever's on the other side. I mean, I like my chances against him. You got to give him a little bit of time. They chose not to do that. They went to Jennings. They went to, at the very end, they went to McLeod. I mean, it just seemed a little bit unusual that you wouldn't feature your best receiver.
I need to see Brandon Ayuk be the featured guy. I need to see George Kittle getting a lot of targets. What's the best friend for a backup quarterback or a rookie quarterback, whatever quarterback that's making their first start of the season? It's your tight end. I need to see George Kittle have a big game. And at times, this past Monday, it felt like it was going to be a George Kittle game. Just couldn't break through. Can they do that with Sam Darnold, who, again, if you're just joining us, is in line to start this Sunday? Good morning to all of you just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the day. Appreciate you chiming in here. 888-957-9570 is the number. Another problem with the 49ers heading into a massive game, trying to avoid a third straight loss against the Cincinnati Bengals, is that defensive line. Baldy, what's going on with them?
Well, I mean, it's a good question, Joe, because they got dominated up front. I mean, Darisaw, O'Neal, Dalton Reiser has been there for, a fortnight right now. They handled them. I've seen very little from Hargrave. Nick Bosa right now is strictly a power rusher, and his power moves are not winning quickly in the pass game. I mean, for Kirk Cousins to drop back 45 times, not get taken down once. Now, he's got some, he's got a little bit of just moxie to him about how to maneuver in the pocket. He's pretty good like that, but I mean, not to take him down one time. Right. I mean, I can't imagine a worse flight home for the 49ers defensive line, however long that is from Minneapolis, to go home and not get Kirk Cousins to the ground one time. It's almost impossible to think about.
Joe Burrow is on a hobbled leg right now. The guy cannot maneuver around. He is going to be chilling in that pocket for most of this game. You need a couple sacks on Sunday if you're going to win this game. Hot take. Can't have 0. Just can't. And whatever it is, if you want to blame Steve Wilkes, okay. But it's up to the defensive linemen to make some plays. You have all the pressures you want, Nick Bosa. You need to finish. Hargrave, need to finish. Randy Gregory, need to finish. Drake Jackson, where's he at? He had, 3 sacks in the first game? Has anyone even heard of his name since? Javon Kinlaw? Where are these guys? And that's concerning when you hear a guy like Brian Baldinger, who lives and breathes offensive and defensive line play, the trenches. That's his bread and butter. And he's saying that Nick Bosa is nothing more than a glorified, power rusher. That's all he's doing after getting paid. That's concerning. I need the production. You're a 2-game losing streak. Jeopardy of losing 3 straight heading into a bye. potentially not having your starting quarterback, I need the D-line to show up. If they don't, it's making life harder for Sam Darnold and co. on the other side. So it's going to take a total team effort, obviously, this Sunday. And it starts with the trenches. It always does. Juxtapose that with the offensive line for the 49ers. Potentially no Trent Williams again heading into the bye. Sam Darnold. We'll see if he's still seeing ghosts. We'll see that real quick. 888-957-9570. That's the number. We got one more break. We're going to hear from Bob Myers, Bob Melvin, and more from you on the other side. How concerned are you about Brock Purdy not starting? Do you have faith in Sam Darnold that he can get the job done this Sunday? 888-957-9570. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. One more segment. Come on back. 95.7 The Game.
When buying her home, Jan couldn't compete against cash offers, and Jan is very competitive. At her kid's soccer game,
kick the f***ing ball!
At the grocery store,
too many f***ing items! Express lane violation! Right here! Express lane violation!
and at charades.
Suck it, you losers!
And that's why she...
thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text the Comcast Business Text line. We've been talking a lot of Niners. Been talking about Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and, Lubman and Shasky. They're prepping for the morning roast. They're just going to be on about, 12 minutes, so you're not going to want to go anywhere. Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, they got a lot of thoughts on Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, all this. And we've been going through some of Sam Darnold's starts and, the weaponry he had. And we were talking about a game with the Jets a few years back where they actually had a lead. Sam Darnold was the quarterback against the Raiders, and Henry Ruggs had the walk-off touchdown. It was just the amount of coaching malpractice that Sam Darnold has had throughout his career. It's a thing. And now he has a chance, if he starts on Sunday, to showcase himself with Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and that head coach, Kyle Shanahan, putting in a position to succeed. Because the conversation regarding Sam has always been, if you had the coaching, well, he has the coaching. One thing everyone can agree on around the league, GMs, head coaches, whatever, Kyle Shanahan will put your quarterback in a position to succeed. Well, Sam Darnold will do that. And if he does, what does that mean for Brock Purdy? Does it mean anything? Do you take away anything of that? 888-957-9570 is the number. Continue to take your calls and text in regards to that. We got some football tonight, by the way. A guy that used to back up Sam Darnold and took over for him, Baker Mayfield. The Buccaneers' old Thursday night football against the Buffalo Bills. Interesting. As you all know, I had Baker as my comeback player of the year prior to the season starting. Up and down. Will he cover? We shall see. The Bills have been disappointing. Let's be honest. Been very disappointing. Losing to the Patriots. Should have lost to the New York Giants probably if Tyrod Taylor doesn't have the weirdest audible I've ever seen for a run and not getting points at the end of that first half a few weeks ago. So this is an interesting game where the Bucs fit into the NFC South, which is wide open. You'd think that the Saints, with all that talent everywhere on the offense, on the defense, bring in Derek Carr, they haven't put a stranglehold on that yet. In fact, the only division that's pretty much out of reach already, and it's only week 8. The AFC West is already done. There's a 3-game lead on the Raiders the Chiefs have. It's over. The Chiefs already have another free win against the Broncos this week. So they'll probably make it a 4-game lead. It's just, you got to laugh through the pain. That's what I'm doing here on the pregame show with all of you. Good morning if you're just getting off work, getting ready for school, getting ready for the day on this thirsty Thursday. I'm your host, Joe Spadoni, and basketball is back. And Bob Myers, former president of basketball operations with the Golden State Warriors, you know him, you love him. We've had him on these airwaves many a time. Hopefully we get him back on again soon because he is now an analyst for ESPN. And he had some interesting thoughts in regards to what's going on in Philadelphia with James Harden, Joel Embiid, and how that pertains to one Stephen Curry. Take a listen.
If it was me, right, I go to Steph Curry, I go to Joel Embiid. What do you want? What do you want? You want this guy? If that guy says, I want him on the team.
Right.
Got it.
But
What am
on
I
the
doing?
other
That's what I'm
side
doing.
of
Got it.
this, Bob, if you are the executive that a star player has explicitly said lied to them and now is still a part of that roster for the foreseeable future with the only trade conversationalist saying we're pausing talks for now, what is your responsibility?
My responsibility is to get the best player on my team, which is Steph Curry's importance level is the top of this building. Mine was this. I go to him and I go, listen, what do you want? If he's not happy, it doesn't matter. That ends the whole conversation. So if I did something with the play, Draymond Green, he said I screwed things up all the time. I'd go call Draymond. What did I do wrong? Why'd you say that? I've been through this stuff. And then I call Curry and I say, Steph, what do you want to do? He's like, we're better with Draymond. Now, I'm not comparing Draymond to what Harden's doing now. Right. But Draymond's made some mistakes too. So what do? The thing that's hard about this one is it's playing out in front of our eyes. This stuff does happen. Look at how upset Lowry was when they traded DeRozan. And they want to I saw Lowry. I said, hey, you can win a championship with Kawhi Leonard. And he looked at me and said, I can't believe we did this. He was mad at Masai. They won a championship.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And maybe it confirms what we all thought of in the first place when it became known about Draymond Green, the punch, Jordan Poole, all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, Steph Curry wanted Draymond Green on this team. And Steph Curry got rewarded with Draymond Green to get a new contract. It's all about Steph. You heard it there from Bob. He is the franchise. You make him happy. Everything goes through him. He might not be going out there and saying and being, a LeBron type, leaking all this, being, a Kobe, I'm not happy. He doesn't work like that. Steph is very calculated, very behind the scenes, but don't get it twisted. He orchestrates it all because all of it has to get his okay, his approval at the end of the day. You heard it there from Bob Myers. Hey, I might not be getting along with Draymond Green. How do you feel about this whole thing, Steph? Yeah, we need Draymond on our team. So, figure it out. Okay. As simple as that. And Bob is obviously talking about what's going on with James Harden and Joel Embiid. Hey, Joel, do you want this guy or not? Now, that's who you go to. Joel Embiid's the franchise when it pertains to the Philadelphia 76ers. That's the guy. So it was interesting to hear Bob, talk about and reference the Draymond Green thing. And part of me wonders how much of that decision, the extension, bring him back, do you let him walk, how much that tied into him stepping down, stepping away. Now, he was very vocal. He was on our airways. Hey, it was just time for him to, step away. Joe Lacob, we had him in studio just the other week, very demanding. He expects excellence. And that's why the Golden State Warriors have been excellent for the last decade plus. Since he's been here. It's a grind. He's got young kids. Hell, me and Bob, I think, have a kid the same age. 4-year-old. It's a lot. Now, it's with ESPN, so doesn't love his. I was going to say doesn't love his family that much. I'm kidding, Pop. He's a great family man. My guy was crying after Kevin Durant tore his Achilles. He was tearing up at the whole Jordan Poole punch thing. He's a very emotional man. He's not afraid to show it to everyone, too. And I appreciate that from Bob Myers. By the way, he sounded so energetic talking there. He's so excited for this role. I'm happy for Bob. I am. I hope he flourishes in this role. He's going to be back in basketball in a few years. Hell, it might even be a one and done. We'll see. Someone's going to throw him the bag, and rightfully so. But what did you hear when you heard Bob Myers, former president of basketball operations, talking about the Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, James Harden angles? I thought it was fascinating. When I first heard it, I thought Bob was saying does Steph Curry and Joel Embiid want to get... No. It was about catering to the pillars of your franchise. I had to listen to it a couple times because I didn't quite understand the context of what they were talking about. But it kind of reinforces what we all think. If Steph wants Draymond, he's going to keep Draymond. If Steph was done with Poole, they're going to get rid of Poole. And that was ultimately the case. They bring in CP3, bye-bye Jordan Poole. Steph's won with Draymond. Obviously, the win-loss without Draymond on the court speaks for itself. You don't win another chip without Draymond. It was easy. And Stephen Curry is trying to get that fifth. He's trying to tie Tim Duncan. He's trying to tie Kobe Bryant, Magic. He's trying to be up there with all those guys. It matters. And you cater to the guy that makes all of it happen. And that's Steph Curry. Good morning to all of you on the YouTube and Twitch chats. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. As we are streaming all day long from 5 a.m. through 7 p.m., Monday through Friday here on 95.7 The Game. Good morning to Damon Chang, Edgard, EJ Gomez, Tyler D, YP, all y'all, Dwayne Baker. Embiid doesn't drop 50 in Game 7 to save his team. No, but Joel Embiid's the best player in Philadelphia right now. Sixers, sorry. He's not A.J. Brown. I get it. But Joel Embiid is the franchise, is what Bob was alluding to. So you go to those guys to pick their brains. It's Bob Myers and Draymond could have a cantankerous relationship all they want. And that's not what I'm saying. That's not what Bob was saying. Obviously, Draymond said some things about Bob about the whole Kevin Durant thing. Bob was like, hey, what the hell, man? So they have a chit chat and stuff like that. And then Bob goes talk to Steph. Hey, how you feeling about Draymond doing all this? And he's like, hey, we need Draymond to win is what it is. So then Bob's like, all right, that's fine. I'll make peace. We'll do all this sort of stuff. But it feels like when I hear that from Bob, he was kind of over it. The whole dark cloud this past season, it was a lot. He needed to take a break, and I don't blame him. Real quick, maybe we'll tease this for tomorrow because we're up against it. We got a minute. Wanted to get to Bob Melvin. Maybe we'll play that opening statement tomorrow. Excuse me. But Bo Mel is back in the Bay. Interesting. Not very inspiring hire, but I think more people were, up in arms, if you will. Some Giants fans, and some were like, okay. But Farhan Zaidi getting extended through 2026, basically tying him to Bob Melvin now, whose contract is also for the next 3 seasons. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this works out, this final iteration. It's either the final iteration or the beginning of a new era for Giants baseball. Either way, Farhan needs this to work or he's gone. Bo Mel didn't end well in San Diego. And his reputation up till now is pretty good. Can't get his team over the hump. He's kind of like Marty Schottenheimer. For as much as people want to compare Shanahan and Schottenheimer, Shanahan's been to a Super Bowl. Bo Mel has even won a league championship series game. He's been there with Arizona. He's been there with San Diego Padres. I think they got swept both times. But can he get to the playoffs? We'll worry about league championship series another time. Can he get to the playoffs? That's ultimately all that matters. And all that matters is the morning roast, and that's up next with Monte Hill and Joe Shasky on 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game.